Alvin Adkins loves his work. He's very good at it and very productive.
I just feel so fortunate that I get to do this, every day.
He works fast. His jewelry is in great demand. His bracelets are a little thicker than most. He likes to carve deep.
It sort of casts a shadow when you're looking at it, I really want it to pop so that it really adds to the design. When you look at it, with just the form lines being bent and everything, it's engraved so deep that it creates a shadow. So inadvertently what it does is make this stronger, right? The form lines that are just sitting on the top.
Alvin started carving when he was 12 years old in Prince Rupert.
This organization up there, they hired Frida Diesing to start a class. So it was interesting because there's a lot of us that came out of there are still really, into it. And I've always respected Frida for that, there's Robert Jackson, Norman Tate, Don Yeomans, my brother Rick.
He also used to carve with other young carvers in a carving shed. In some ways, those were the glory days.
Whoever sort of in town would show up and they'd bring down what they're working on, or if it's a mask or if it's, or they're working on jewelry. We'd all sort of just get together and play some music and carve through the night and during the day. And it was always just one of those times that, you look back on fondly and kind of wish you could still have it again.
These days, he doesn't carve wood much because his jewelry keeps him busy. But the smell of the cedar brings back great memories.
When I smell it, it brings me back to my first class with Frida Diesing, It just makes my heart just really happy because, it was such a happy time for me back then when I was working with Frida. And, so it's sort of, and I could fly back into that in my mind so easily. So.
Here's a blast from the past. A friend had this for decades and recently gave it back to Alvin. It's the first carving he did when he was 12. There was a time when he'd be embarrassed by it. Not now.
Back in the day when I was always kind of like, oh, I look at that, I didn't like it, I was always kind of embarrassed at what I did. And now I'm at a place in my life right now where I'm really quite proud of this. So yeah,
12 years old.
Yeah, and that was just the beginning, that was the starting line of my journey, and so it's really fun to look at it and go, yeah.
And you already had the deep carving thing, right?
Yeah, it just looked like I ran it off the highway a few times here, but it was fun.
After all these years, he's still learning.
Every piece I do, I'm just learning more about what it's about. I'm just scratching the surface of what it's about for me anyway,
And he's learned that the best ideas will simply come to him if he meditates and is ready to receive.
And I think that's what's beautiful about it, you get to just receive. I think that's what all that training was for all those years, was to learn to receive it, you know what I mean? That stuff really speaks to me, and it makes me feel really good at the end of the day that I listened to that,